Hey everybody, welcome to the show. See, we got Jay Fox Hunter in here, Avid, Squirrels Magnet Fishing, new names. Thanks for dropping in. Uh, we got Uncle Josh in here, uh, David Hamilton, uh, Chris Usselton. Uh, Welcome, guys. Appreciate everybody coming in. Uh, as y'all can tell, we got Art with the 1 Ton Fishing Club.
What's up?
That's exactly right. Hey, Georgia fishermen, we're going to give it a second and give people a chance to get the notification and get in here. I want to share a little bit of information with y'all for those of y'all that didn't get to see my spur of the moment live stream. Hey, Stan. Sunday night, I have the privilege of running into a disabled veteran. Me and my wife had went and picked up dinner, and on the way out of the restaurant, I was approached by this elderly man. And hey, Dan, and he kind of told me who he was, his story, and man, they were hungry. They were trying to get some food, and this man, and he's got his wife to take care of. Hey, Brad, they were in a bad way, and of course, I'm not going to turn anybody away. So me and my wife helped them out. Really pulled at my heart. I come home. I got on there and did a live stream and gave my PayPal account and stuff, and people have started donating, and I appreciate that, guys. I'm trying to do all I can to help this elderly disabled veteran and his wife make sure they got food, because by the time he got to us and we helped him, I can't even tell you the last time it looked like that man had ate. And it really broke my heart. This poor old man, he could barely walk, and he's out there, having to beg for food just to feed him and his wife. And hey, William Warner. And it was really humbling, because I was worried about buying the wife a new truck and buying a new boat, and I ran into this gentleman, and I'm worried about having all these luxuries, and this poor old man and this woman are just trying to figure out how they're going to eat and how they're going to feed themselves, and if they're going to eat. And so for everybody that donated and helped out, I appreciate it. If anyone else would like to donate, because it wasn't a one-time and done thing, I'm going to continue helping this guy. And there's Hooks and Hammock Chris, LG Bass. I'm going to continue helping this elderly man and this woman. No veteran that risked his life for our country and our freedoms should be out there doing without, trying to figure out how he's going to eat. It was very sad. And for those of y'all that already have donated and helped, I appreciate it. Hey, Chad, anyone else that would like to donate and help this elderly disabled vet, my PayPal information is in the about information on my page. And I know this man and this woman appreciate anything you can do. Everything goes straight to them. It was a really heart-touching moment. And I'm proud, I'm thankful for my catfish community and our little family. People jumped in. Hey, Lance, welcome. And they started helping right away.
Hey, so David, where's that link for your PayPal? I don't see it in the description for this.
It's on my about page. If you go to my channel and look at the about, it's on there.
Okay, I'll go check it out.
And also my last video that I posted Sunday, I got on and talked about it. I posted my PayPal information at the very top of the chat in there also for anybody that wants to help. There's Larry 3+1, Alicia, Austin. But I won't dwell on that, guys. I just wanted to kind of get that out there, get it shared out. We've already been able to raise $100 for this man and his wife, and these people are very grateful. They're very appreciative, and like I said, it was really humbling because I was worried about a new truck and a new boat and stuff like this, and this guy's just trying to figure out how he's going to feed his wife, and kind of lets you know there's more important things out there in life.
That's right. That's right. It's like you said, humbling.
Yep.
God'll do it to you, man.
Yep.
When you're worrying about the wrong things, he'll definitely put either a roadblock or a reminder in your way.
Yeah.
Conviction, you can be convicted by it.
Yeah.
But
the sad thing about it is when I went in to pick up our order, my wife sat out in the car, and she said 3 or 4 people, this old man approached them, and they just snubbed him off and walked by like he wasn't even talking to them. And I mean, people, this is a disabled veteran. This is somebody that risked his life for our country. And, not only is he elderly, he's a veteran. And if you are so caught up and so busy in your life that you do not have time to try and help a fellow human being, and it's a sad time. It's a sad world. There's Sogo. Hey, Nick. All right, everybody. I want everyone to welcome Art, One Ton Fishing Club.
What's up, everybody?
Glad to have Art on here. Art does a lot of fishing, and you mainly fish cur, correct, Art?
Yeah, or any of the tributaries too.
Yeah. Hey, Hooked Up, welcome. For those of y'all that don't know, Hooked Up is a new channel. They had to restart over. Hey, Kevin Baker. So anyone that has Hooked Up's link in chat that's a moderator, guys, if you want to share them out, I would appreciate it. Feel free to share any links. I like getting the links out there. I like drawing attention to people, getting them noticed. That's what we're all about, is helping each other grow and supporting one another. Now, I have seen you on a boat a few times, but you mainly bank fish, correct?
Yes, sir. I've actually recently been looking at a boat. I don't think I'm going to pull the trigger. For a lot of people that know me, it's talked to me a lot. Where I live at, I've been needing to do some landscaping and get my yard graded and fixed right because it retains a lot of water. And I just got a quote for almost $9,000. So I need to get my yard straight first.
Yeah.
Where I live at, I couldn't even I probably could get down in behind my house and turn around and park the boat. But ultimately, getting the yard done first is leading up to me getting a boat so I can pull it up in the top of the backyard and turn around and all that fun stuff.
Yeah, that's one thing about it. When you get that boat, you got to have a place to put it. And a lot of places are not boat friendly. Little narrow driveways and stuff. I know a lot of people that live in town. I'm fortunate enough to live out in the country. I can pretty much do whatever I want out here. Drive through the yard and listen to the wife yell at me for driving through the yard. Worst thing that's going to happen is
I would be stuck in my yard.
Yeah. Well, mine's 4-wheel drive, so I'll kick it in 4-wheel drive. And worst thing that's going to happen is she'll beat me for leaving ruts in the yard, But
so yeah, to answer your question, I am a bank fisherman, lazy man style. So
I like the bank fishing.
What's that?
Because you got room. I like the bank fishing because you got more room. You can spread out. It's very relaxed. Uh, if you stumble or lose your balance, you ain't got to worry about going overboard.
Yeah.
You ain't got to worry about knocking anything in the water. Uh, I'm a bit clumsy. I'm kind of like an elephant in a china cabinet. So I like all the room I can see. Uh, Now, of your choice, Art, blues or flatheads, which would you rather catch?
I'd rather catch a flathead, but the blues choose me more.
Yeah,
And if I'm targeting flatheads, channels choose me more.
yeah. But
That's my live bait.
Kerr does have good fish in it. It's got quality fish. You can catch some big fish out of that lake.
Oh,
Uh, you know, I seen. Hey, Mike Urban, welcome. Uh, I seen. When you got on the boat with King's catfishing
yeah.
and the new PB and all that. We won't get into all the shad eating and stuff like that, but there are a lot of nice fish in that body of water.
Yes. Yes. I mean, there's fish in there that I didn't realize were in there. I mean, we have walleyes in our lake. Um, every spectrum of the sunfish family. There's largemouth bass. Smallmouth are more up in the rivers. Um, bowfin. Josh actually caught a bowfin tonight. Again, the bowfin are more shallow, murkier, muddier waters. And in the creeks, gar, blues, channels, flats. I think I said walleye. I know there's white bass, white perch, striper. There's striper in the lake. And I mean, there's even bullheads in the lake. I mean,
Yeah.
up in the creeks, in the creeks of the lake, which we still call the lake because it's flooded. But I think that's it as far as like the species. Um, yellow perch, yellow perch.
Yeah. Hey, Brian B. Straight to the point. Welcome, guys. We don't have the bowfin down here. I have seen people catch them on live streams and stuff. Even Lori, Laura the Explorer, I've seen her catch one. We don't have them here, so to me that's kind of a weird creature. But I know they're starting to spread out. They're finding them more and more in different bodies of water. Hey, Roger, welcome. Michael Williams. There's Catfish Regulators. Aaron, Polar Bear. Welcome, guys.
There's Josh's bowfin he caught a little while ago.
Yeah, I've never caught one of them here. But y'all have like Kerr Lake has a lot more species as far as your panfish and stuff like that. Like we don't have the yellow perch here. We have the striper and the sand bass, and your catfish, and you have the bluegill, and you're seeing the green sunfish pop up, and they're starting to take over. And
We
I'm
have
having
some of the creeks, but mostly ponds are what they call hybrid brim. But I'm going to find some pictures. The pan fishing in the lake is really good. I mean, you're talking like two close to 3 pound shell crackers and 2, 3, close to even 4 pound crappie in the lake.
yeah.
I think there's white crappie in the lake too. I mean, it's just a good fishery.
Yeah, that's some big panfish. Hey, Jason Lamb, welcome. I know I'd talked about it, and hopefully, if everything works out, I still want to come up there and get to fish Kerr with y'all, trying to get everything leveled out with the wife and get everything situated. Uh, I'm going to bring her with me. There's no way I'm going fishing without her. If I do, there's no sense in coming home. Uh, my wife loves to fish. Uh, I enjoy taking her. She's my favorite fishing buddy. Uh, so with all the different species up there, and I know, you know, Kerr Lake also has a healthy shad population. Yeah,
The big old shell cracker.
yeah, that is a tank.
That one's a pound and a half. I've seen them come out of the lake bigger.
Yeah,
Oh, forgot about this species too. Freshwater drum. They get.
yeah,
Big.
yeah.
I'm sorry, I cut you off. What were you saying?
Uh, we got the drum down here, and but our we don't have the shell crackers. Our bluegill and stuff get big, and like me pan fishing, I take, even catching my bait for my catfish, I take a 12-foot jigging rod. I go out there with that jigging rod. It's very ultra light, and I have a blast catching bait. Uh, Chris Usselton wants to know, what kind of rigs do you like using for cats up there on Kerr?
Carolina rigs.
Carolina rig?
I like so just because we made some the no rolls, the 3/4s and 5s. But I started getting into sinker slides when I started purchasing some more of the expensive rods. Because I really didn't have any kind of name brand rod. I just had when we were starting, just the most name brand one I had was Big Cat Fever. You know, and I love their rods. Um, you know, they're a company that's growing fast and not fast enough with, and COVID has a lot to do with it. So I'm not
Yeah.
against it, but like with their supply and demand kind of thing. But when I started switching and paying a little bit more for rods, I started getting into using the sinker slides. And I was fishing with LG bass one day, and we were talking about it. And what's nice about sinker slides, you can take the weight off when you're done fishing, and your weight's not beating, like wearing a spot
Yeah.
off on your rod, and you can put your rod sock on a lot easier. And so I had a bunch of the no rolls. I don't know if we made a video, so you guys go check that out. I just went to Lowe's and bought these little eye screws and screwed it into the no rolls, and I can put them on the sinker slide, so I can still use them.
Yeah.
Ultimately, I want to get either the river sinker, or they call it a coin sinker mold, or I want to get a bank sinker mold. Just something with that hoop already in it. No, Roger, we don't, because we don't have enough current. Where Josh was fishing, possibly, but the snags are so bad.
Yeah.
No, I would like to try. We wanted to get some planer boards, and we still might make some homemade ones just to experiment before we go buy the really nice ones and lose them. Because you break off on the back of the planer board, that joker's gone. You're not getting that back. Somebody
Yeah.
went down the lake and like, cha-ching, thank you.
Yeah.
Now,
I see Bottom Feeders made it in. Brad Caudell, Palmetto Cats. Hey, Kevin, welcome. Welcome, everybody.
what's up, Kevin?
You were talking about the sinker slides. Another thing that they've really grown in popularity too is you can change your weight out.
Yeah.
You're not having to retie. If you're fishing slack current one day and you can get by with the 4 ounce, but it may rain overnight, you got fresh water coming in. The next day, that current may be ripping, or these lakes that let water out and control them with the dams and stuff. The next day, you may have current, and you may have to put an 8 or a 12 ounce on there. It makes it real easy because they're not real retying. They can just switch that out with that sinker slide.
Yep, that's another good thing. But again, where we fish at, if you need more than 5 ounces, it's probably not fishable. Because one of our hot spots that we like to go, I call it a hot spot, but like when the water's kind of up and it's been raining, 5 ounces probably isn't enough. We'll throw another 3, like you were saying, put another 3 on there. All of our lines pretty much washed down, but we really don't care because if we're catching a fish, we'll deal with the tangled lines. But yeah, I mean, we've had several great videos, like our flathead video with Josh and his nieces, when we got nominated for a Golden Whisker Award last year. There's a plug for you, Kevin.
Yeah.
And we've caught a lot of big blues there too. And what's cool about that spot, you'll hear your bell go off because the rod goes down, and almost simultaneously the bell goes off. You hear the tail slap because it's so shallow there. You know,
Yeah.
4 or 5 foot deep river. It's not real. It's not real deep, and especially when we get some flooding, a lot of the sand and sediment washes down in the spots where we fish. And there's a couple of deep holes, but mainly you're counting on your bait, the center of your bait going down river, and they're coming up when they're ready to feed.
Yeah. I love catching them in that shallow water. I see everything.
Get on a kayak. That river that we fish would be a great kayak. Like when you watch River Certified and he goes through and he'll tie off on the log jams. That river is what I think of when I see him doing that. Even though it's narrower, but it's still the same concept of what he's doing. I'm not. I couldn't do a kayak.
I'm not either. Clearview Outdoors. Hey, Skip. Welcome. Now, the dragon weights that Roger mentioned, there are some places that I fished that are very, very rocky, and you have a lot of ledges and great big shell rocks underwater that those fish like to get up under. And if you use a no-roll sinker or an egg sinker and you throw out there and you reel in without a fish, you might as well just sacrifice that hook and stuff. I have figured out that the Santee Cooper rig helps a lot because once you start bringing that bait in, that float has got some buoyancy, and a lot of times it'll kick it over them rocks. And also the dragon weights. If I use the Santee drifters from Jimmy, and you can throw out there, and they do not snag up as much. They will kind of flex and bend and come over the rocks. So I'm able to fish places that most people would not fish because they lose too much tackle.
That's interesting. Never thought of it like that.
They do. If you've got a real snaggy spot that's got lots of stumps that are underwater laid down, or rocks or ledges, them drifting weights are awesome. I kind of lucked into it and got some from Jimmy, and I thought, man, I'm going to try these out. Because even though I lose tackle in these spots, they are prime time big flathead spots. And so I got to fish them. I know the fish are there. And since I started doing that, I have not lost one rig, not one. And used to, every time you reeled in, you were breaking off.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, in my opinion, just from the past, I'd say about 3 or 4 years being fishing on the bank, that most of your snags and stuff, that circle hook's not hooking onto a rock, maybe a log or a branch or something down there. 9 times out of 10, your weight on a Carolina rig
is what's hung.
Means something.
Yep.
And you're breaking off, and it's pretty much because of your weight, style of weight that you use. So I might have to give you some of them dragon weights or make some.
It helps. It helps a lot, especially in the rocky terrain, because it don't matter what sinker you use. A lot of them rocks have cracks in them, and that weight hits that crack, or you're coming up over that rock ledge, and your sinker catches on that. It's not going to pop up over it, and you're lucky if it don't just cut your line on that rock ledge. And those dragon weights help a bunch.
That's a good idea.
Now, we talked earlier, and you named all the species in the lake and stuff, and the shell cracker and everything, and the white perch, the yellow perch, and there's a big shad population there. Hey, Mike Sampy, welcome. What is your go-to bait?
I'll tell you what, if you had asked me this a year ago, I would have said bluegill. You're asking me now after hooking up with, well, actually kind of reconnecting with an old buddy that I used to play baseball with when I was a young kid here. I don't know why I'm saying all this to say my favorite bait, but a sucker. A white, I guess it's a white sucker. Um, and now, David from Slime Slinger's Catfishing, he travels from out of town too, like Aaron does, to come see us. And well, come see us. That's part of it. But to fish the lake too. But he brought some, like, 8, 9, 10 inch suckers. And he took me out fishing on his boat one night. I didn't have anywhere to set up my phone to go live, and we were. And it sounds like the making of an epic video. We couldn't we couldn't sit long enough before we'd have to reel in another fish. I think it was a time of year. It was like pre-spawn, or a little bit before pre-spawn, actually, before the water got above 60 something. But yeah, he kind of he turned us on to that, and watching Tim from Epic Catfish, he's always talking about white sucker or using sucker for bait. And then I watched this one video where he's catching them like 24-inch suckers. Like, oh, this would be perfect bait.
Yeah.
Hey.
Yeah.
Huge.
Yeah.
So I say all that to say, so now my number one is sucker, shad, and then bluegill. And bluegill has this time of year, like whether it be live or cut. I've never used shad live because I don't have a good way to keep them alive. I typically will cast net them and put them on ice. But yeah, and I've seen Avid talk about his all the different types of suckers he likes: red horse sucker, Asian carp, big head carp, like kind of like Bubba Gump with the broiled shrimp, all all the different things that Forrest Gump talks to Bubba Gump.
Yeah, we don't have the suckers here, so I hear a lot of people talk about them. Hey, Uncle Lou, welcome. Dale Hayslip, welcome. I hear a lot of people talk about them, and I watched Epic Tim Scott. I actually watched him go to a creek up there by his house, and that's what his whole video was about. He was going to target the suckers, and he was catching bait. And
he was climbing up and down that really steep hill.
Yeah.
I watched.
And stuff like that works, but I get curious, like skipjack. We don't have skipjack here.
Yeah, we don't either.
And I'm always worried. I wonder if you brought skipjack or the suckers into our area, would they survive in our waters? Because if it's bait, I would not mind buying this stuff and bringing it in and transporting it and getting it started if I knew it would survive in our lake systems and our waterways. Because
too, though, you gotta make sure it's not against state regulations, because we're technically, even though we cut the bait up, like if we're throwing a live bait, we're technically not supposed to be using it if it's in a pond. Now, if it's the same body of water, it's but transporting and transplanting fish is illegal.
Yeah, here in Oklahoma, it's not. Man, you can use bass, you can use crappie, just about anything you can think of for bait. You can use here the bullheads. They are very, very relaxed on what you can and what you can't use for bait.
Yeah, we can bass and crappie and stuff. Sorry, Tom. We can use bass and stuff, but you got to save the carcass to prove that it was legal size to keep, and it counts for part of your krill. But if you're not keeping catfish, so you're not. And crappie is a great bait, but it has. So from my experience, not speaking, there's guys out there that's fished and way more experience, like Tim from King's Catfishing. I've noticed from when I fish and the patterns with using crappie for bait, it's cold water is when it's the best. That I noticed when it's wintertime.
Yeah. Well, that's like even Dieter. You see Dieter, he's either fishing with chicken or he's got white perch.
White perch.
Uh,
And
you
live
know, he
white perch.
yeah he fishes with that a lot, and to me, shad is my go-to bait. We had a major shad population until this winter, and we actually had a hard freeze, and we had a shad kill. First time we've had a shad kill in Oklahoma that I can even remember. Uh, I cannot even remember the last time our lakes were completely froze over like that. So bluegill it's been what we've been using now, and it works. But I have more confidence in the shad. I've used it for so many years, and that was the natural forage fish. There was more shad in that body of water than there was bluegills.
Yeah. Well, the reason we use bluegill so much is just the availability. We can go catch a bunch, or we can actually go set up fish with some frozen bait and throw a worm out and start catching them there too.
Yeah,
It wasn't until winter time I find, and shad's a really good bait, I guess year round. I haven't really fished a whole lot with it during the summer because we. So going back to talking about the sucker, I connected with a buddy of mine on Facebook. And I threw out some feelers just to say like I want to catch these where some of the people the local guys. I'm not like original local from here. I've been here probably about 12 years. Where do we catch these? And I put a picture up of it, and dude messaged me. He's like, try this place, this place, this place, this place. And before I could try it, he messaged me 2 days after that, and he sent me a picture of a cooler full of the suckers like the size 10 was catching.
yeah,
He goes, "You want these?" I'm like, "Yeah, yep."
yep. Be like I'm on my way,
Yep.
and
He gave us like 20, 25 of them. Like this cooler could barely close. He had so many, and
yeah,
I picked them up. Josh got them from me. They went fishing, and I met Josh later on, Josh and Kyle, and we vacuum sealed what we could, and the rest of them. And this is an effective way that Tim was telling me too with shad. You could take shrink wrap and you wrap it head to tail, and then wrap it this way, and you can freeze it like that, and it doesn't freeze it burn or anything. And
yeah,
it was good for the sucker. He said that the suckers will be fine because the scales are so hard and so big, they won't get freezer burnt and they won't hurt. And man,
hey Mario.
it has saved us so much time and headache trying to chase bait. If we don't have time to chase bait, Josh would be like, hey, because we keep them at Josh's house, Josh, grab a sucker out of the freezer and keep bait for everybody for the night.
Yeah, I'm bad about not freezing bait. I prefer fresh bait if I can, but that's like me down here. We're using bluegill now because our shad population was decimated, and during this time of the year, even when you have a lot of shad, you either got to be out there late at night or early in the morning before the sun comes up to catch them up close enough to the bank to catch them with the cast net. And it's hit and miss. They may be here one day and gone the next. Uh, hey, Lynn. I see Lynn with Catfish and Fever come in. So bluegill, you can go out there with a box of worms, and you can usually find the bluegill. And Chris Hustleton wants to know: do you freeze with the guts in?
Absolutely. I mean, I'm no professional, but we do. I do know there's a good time frame you want to try to use them within a month of freezing them. Otherwise, they kind of after you take them out, thaw them out, they're mush, and they don't put out much scent.
Yep. One thing I noticed with the frozen bait versus the fresh bait, and I don't care if you've only had it in the freezer for like a week, even with the bluegill, when you cut into it, it's not as bloody as that fresh live cut bait. When you cut that bait fresh that day, it has a lot more blood,
Yeah,
and
flowing through them. Yep.
yeah, I, I'm a big believer in fresh bait, but if you cannot get fresh bait, by all means, frozen bait. Uh,
And
you know,
chicken works. Chicken works here. I've only known we haven't tried it in the summer. mainly just because I'm not fishing as much as I used to, just because of work and everything going back to the normal
Yeah.
schedule. And, you know, getting my little girl and all that, having to do life pretty much.
Yeah.
I'd like to start trying chicken again in the warm water situations. But again, chicken worked really good in the wintertime, which a lot of people, and I've used eel in the wintertime when we've caught fish. It's just that I guess it's dependent on water temperature. I imagine that chicken, like if you're soaking it in the Kool-Aid or,
Yeah.
I use lemon Kool-Aid and the salt and the garlic. I imagine warm water, just like a bait fish, that blood and that scent is gonna go out of it faster with the water being warmer.
Yeah. I've never had any luck with chicken. I'm gonna try it again. I do know it works. There's too many people out there catching fish on chicken, and I just learned earlier this year that the zebra mussels have moved into our body of water. Someone had brought them in, and they're starting to take over. Uh, so that's going to definitely affect the shad population as well. So I'm going to try the chicken again and give it a chance. Uh, I tried it last year. We never even got a bite on it, but you can't just say it doesn't work. I know it works. I've seen people look at it. Look at Jerry Parker. He kills them on that freaking chicken. And
If they're in the area and they're feeding, I think they'll eat anything,
yeah,
no matter what bait you got. Can you draw them in? I don't know. I noticed one thing about the chicken, and we've had our success from the bank. But a lot of these guys are fishing from a boat and covering water and finding the fish and getting in the fish and putting that chicken right in front of their face.
hey, Eddie Gross, welcome. Lee Evans, welcome, guys. Yeah, 2 stands. You're exactly right there. The fresh cut bait gives off the electrical stimuli for up to 3 hours after death. It definitely helps.
Dan went to Catfish College. Look at him.
Yeah, that is. This is epic Tim Scott knowledge right here that Stan's sharing.
Oh yeah.
Because Epic has shared the same with me. I love listening to him. I could not get tired of listening to him. He is so knowledgeable and he has so much information. I'm making plans. They've got a special catfish conference event coming up in Kansas City, Missouri, November. And I'm planning on attending it. And I also want to attend the one in Kentucky this year. I plan on going to both of them. I love that kind of stuff. My wife already gave me the thumbs up. I've got I have to take her sightseeing on the way home. We're history buffs, big into the Civil War and stuff. She likes places like that. And whatever I spend on rod and reels, she'll probably spend on other stuff. So it'll be an expensive trip, but it'll be well worth it.
Anybody in chat got any more questions? Throw them up there. Yeah, road trip for real.
Our first catch was yesterday on fresh cut creek chubs and sucker and chicken.
Now, see, creek chubs I like too, but I haven't, again, having all that sucker and the working and, like why put the effort into going to the creeks and finding them. I know a spot I could probably go catch a bunch of them in, but we had the frozen suckers. Creek chubs, I caught a flathead on a cut creek chub before.
Yeah.
The only luck I've ever had with it. I've had luck with them live. Small enough to throw on the hook live and had a blue cat hit that.
Yeah, and to me, I think it'd be fun, not just traveling and fishing, but you get to see all these different baits that are not available in my area. Uh, we've never used them, never seen them, and so you get to experience new things. And to me, anytime you can go and learn stuff like that, it's very helpful. Uh,
I would like to go if I travel somewhere where I can buy some skipjack. I'd like to bring it back and try it. So Virginia, you can use if you have a receipt, you can use whatever you want for bait if you bought it from the store. But like if I brought fresh skipjack that I just caught and throw on ice and come back, I would. If you're caught, now I say,
yeah,
my luck, I would get caught. But if you came back with it, then it's illegal. But if I came back and receipt and it was in a package, then it's legit. I could use it.
hey Ernie Brown, welcome. Fishing with the Squirrel, welcome. To me, I watch the skipjack and I watch them catching the skipjack and with the sabiki rigs and stuff. Man, I'm going to go and I will schedule a trip just to go out and catch skipjack for bait. I would have a great time just catching bait. Hey, Gary Thompson, welcome. And, I've seen people catch them different ways. I've seen them, casting out with the sabiki rigs. I've seen them with the Foley spoons.
Yep.
I've even seen them trolling for them. And,
big heads on there too with the curly tail grubs.
Oh, they hit the curly tail grubs too?
Yep. I've seen Catfish Dave tie like that. Probably they'll tie like 3 or 4. I don't know what size ounce jig heads, but he's got like 3 different ways that he fishes for them when they're not biting. They'll try different ways. I would love a dream trip or a dream goal in catfishing. Yeah, we fish a lake that has trophy catfish in it, but just because I want to go other places and fish, I would love to take a week trip to Tennessee and whatever. It doesn't matter. Just fish one of them. And like you're saying, go out on a skipjack trip one day, put it all on ice, and go for a catfishing trip the next day. And, just get away for a week. Just unplug from everything.
Yeah. Yeah, it's nice to get away, even just to see different country. Hey, Ozark guys, welcome. To me, one of the first people I ever started watching years ago that really got me hooked on the YouTube and the catfishing and stuff was Steve Douglas. And man, I would love to meet him. I would love to go on a fishing trip with him because he's kind of like a hero to me. I watched him and his wife Lisa for years, and it's just a blast. Steve, he's caught so many of them. He don't even weigh the fish and stuff, and
scale.
Yeah, he'll be sitting there and he'll have the grill on the boat and that rod's going down. He's just flipping the burger and he's like, I'll get that in a minute. And I'm bouncing, jumping all over the couch. I'm excited. He just like it's no big deal.
Burger.
Yeah. And, I'm going nuts. I'm like, get that rod. And, but I really enjoyed him. I like watching him. Him and Chris Flores have been doing it a long time. It's nice to watch. So, when you started fishing, who really got you into it, Art?
My dad always took us fishing when we were younger. We got bored and threw rocks and stuff like that because he always catfished.
Yeah.
You got to wait for the bite. You're not going, it's not nonstop action. But I always liked going fishing with him. But I wanted to. That's back when, people watched TV and watched infomercials. Where you wake up the next morning after you were watching a movie and it's like the banjo minnow thing was playing.
Yeah.
So, banjo minnow. So I got a banjo minnow kit and I was trying to fish for bass. He's like, what are you doing cast all the time when you bass fish? You got to reel it in and out, in and out. Just put it in the water and leave it. And he never liked bass fishing, but I grew fond of it when I was started getting old enough to drive. I could drive and go fish. And where we lived at, in the community, they had a pond. They call it a lake. It was a pond. You could probably cast across it, but nobody ever really fished it, and there was bass in there. So I used to go. There was a local, I guess he's a bait shop. He was more of he sold rods and reels, and he made his own soft plastics.
Yeah.
It was called Wacky Worm Tackle Bait and Tackle Shop in Pennsylvania. And I used to go, and the guy, I was in there so much, he's like, "Here, this is a new color I'm trying. Go try it. Let me know how you do." And he'd give me packs of worms to go try. And I love the bass fish. And then I continued to do it for years. And then I moved down here to Virginia, and I always knew about catfishing. My idea of catfishing was either night crawlers or chicken livers, or chicken.
Yeah.
Gizzards. I tried gizzards too, but that's all it was. And I was just like, yeah, I'm not getting chicken livers every time I want to go fishing.
Yeah.
And then I met Josh at our church, and we were talking about fishing, and he said, "Oh yeah, I love catfishing." He showed me pictures of catfish. I'm like, "Okay, those fish can eat my fish that I'm fishing for. Let's try it." And then, the rest is history.
Hey, Teresa Clark, welcome.
So yeah, it was my dad. He got me into fishing.
Yeah, it's nice, and that's like you were out with your little girl last night with Uncle Josh out. So the whole cycle has kind of made a full circle. It started with you and your dad, and now you've got kids of your own, and it's great to watch. I encourage everybody, if you get a chance, take the kids fishing with you. They will remember that long after we're gone.
I see a question in chat that I'd like to answer. Brad Caudle was asking how the 1 ton crew kind of got formed. So
yeah,
to piggyback onto this end of that story where I met Josh. So all 4 of us, Jared, Kyle, Josh, and myself, we all go to the same church. Josh was he wasn't going to church at the time, but he's coming back. Kind of long story. And I was new to the church, and there was a chicken. We were having, I think we were serving lunch one day, and we're all cooking chicken. And Josh is, somehow I always got volunteer for cooking. Any church I went to, like, "Hey, would you mind help cook?" I'm like, "All right, that's fine." So I'm outside flipping these leg quarters on all the grills because somebody donated all these boxes of leg quarters. And Josh come walking up, and we're cooking and we're talking, and we had like all these. It's kind of like the movie Step Brothers. So Josh was a training specialist at the time. I was a training specialist at the time. We both like fishing, and we're just like, whoa. So we started hanging out, fishing, and we were posting fish on Facebook. And Jared goes to our church, and he came up and was like, "Hey, man, I love to fish too. You mind if I come fishing with you guys?" "Oh, well, yeah, man, come on, more the merrier." And Kyle started coming to the church. I did a little bit of Facebook stalking, and I saw he had the big double hooks on his glass. He had a catfish hat on. I'm like, man, we're all big dudes. So I was like, he likes catfishing. Why not bring another big dude catfishing with us? So I said on Facebook, "Hey, man, I see you like fishing. Do you want to go catfishing with us one time?" And he came, and we fished together, and we're all sitting around one day. We talk junk. We have fun.
Yeah.
They're like, "Why don't we start a YouTube channel and just share the fun with everybody? Just be ourselves." Yeah, that's a good night too.
Yeah.
We could hardly close the grill lid that night when Aaron.
Yeah, when he was making them tomahawk steaks.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's how I first come across Aaron and LG Bass both. The first time I seen them was when they were out fishing with the 1 ton club, and so y'all kind of helped introduce me into Aaron and LG Bass and
Wander. He came and fished with us a couple times.
Yeah. Yep. Well, even Chris and Telly Lee, they come down and yep, hooks and hammock, and they even went out with Tim King, King's Catfishing, and they fished some with him.
Who's that?
Hooks and Hammocks, Chris and Telly.
Oh yeah, yep. They stayed at Tim's grandfather's cabin, and Tim took them out on a guide trip. Same with Mike Chavez and Sharon.
Yes.
Yeah. I call her Mama.
Yeah.
First a long time.
Yeah, if I'm not mistaken, when Mike and Sharon were there, and they were driving around in a little golf cart thing, and they pulled up to the spot down there, and it already had pole holders, on the bank in the ground, and
I want to go there so bad.
yeah, it was pretty neat. I'm planning on. I want to go to that Mendota trip.
That would be cool.
Mark and them went up there, and Lyle and Chad and a bunch of them, Betty Jean. They all went up there catching them monster channel cat up at Mendota, and man, I would love to do that. And y'all went to that tournament Patriot James had up there at Wiley. That was a big surprise to me. I was not expecting to see the big fish like that, especially in the numbers. And the flatheads really surprised me because the only place
catching them.
Well, the only person I ever seen fish that lake was Dieter, Dieter Melhorn, and man, they started bringing in all them pigs, and I was like, man, Dieter has been holding out on us. That lake has a lot of big fish.
So when you're at Dieter's status, you try, and Tim has taught me this too. Like if he's taking it, like when I took a picture with that big 49 pounder, he's like, stand over here. No, stand over here. People will look and pause and zoom in and look at the surroundings. So Dieter's staying away from those big fish on purpose, I believe.
Yeah.
What people call spot hawkers. People are trying to find out where you were instead of putting in the work yourself and going and finding the fish. That kind of thing.
Well, not only that, but if everybody knew that those kind of fish were in that body of water, how many more people would travel to that lake, and how much more boat traffic and fishing pressure would that lake see?
I'm really surprised. Now catfishing popularity has picked up, especially when I had a long conversation with that guy that caught those suckers for me, because him and his brother are guides. Like they noodle for catfish, and his brother's a guide now, but he more does smallmouth. They've gotten so turned off by catfishing, and this goes back to people not cleaning up after themselves at spots and ruining it for everybody else. He told me he pretty much they bank fished before they got a boat, and he told me all these good spots that are not available to fish now because people ruined it for other people. So, like next time you think about leaving a beer can sitting there or trash sitting there, just pick it up, put it back in your pocket, and take it back with you, because you're ruining it for the next guy that doesn't act like that, But
that's what I struggle with here.
Yes.
We have a lot of. Yep. We have a lot of them. I'll go out there and I keep boxes of trash bags. And when I say, I'm not talking kitchen bags, I'm talking the 50-gallon black trash bags. With me and my wife, we keep it in the vehicle because every time we go out there, we have to clean up a spot. And you can clean it up and go back 3 days later and they've already trashed it again. And I'm like, show some respect. Take care of our lakes, our property, our land. A lot of the places we used to have access to, the Corps engineers shut the roads down because every time it would rain, these idiots would get out there in their four-wheel drive trucks and just tear the roads up, get stuck, and they'd end up having to get tractors in there in the middle of the night to try and pull them out. And they finally just shut it down. They were writing them fines and everything else, and they just closed the roads. They're like, if you can't drive around the lake with common sense, we just won't allow you to drive there no more.
Yeah, I saw that thumbnail that you made. That was really cool, by the way. Thank you. So that
You're very welcome.
one fish that I was holding was like 38 pounds. Where I caught that at, they have, because people have, so that's like behind it, about right behind a dam, and it's not a huge dam. It does do some electricity. It generates some electricity, and people have been breaking in the fenced off area and stealing copper. So now you can't even, like, they have cameras, and like you can't even go back there anymore.
Yeah, and that's sad.
Do is either get a kayak or on a boat, or there's another way to access it from the other side. But you got to walk probably close to almost a mile, and I could probably walk a mile, but I don't want to be carrying all my stuff or dragging a cart behind me for a mile to go down there and fish, drag it back. The other way was much easier, much more friendly, And we made a bunch of videos back there. It was the best fishing that I had at the time of getting into exploring new places instead of fishing the same spot all the time.
Yeah, and it's sad that people are like that and they're ruining those spots.
Yes.
Hey, Pins and Pal, Brent, welcome.
I don't get that.
That's like me. I grew up, and when I was young, I knew every farmer in the country, and I worked for them. And man, they would let me go and fish their ponds anytime I wanted. And they basically ended up shutting down because people were going out there and trashing up their property and stuff. It's like, someone's nice enough to let you, fish their pond or their private lake or something, and you're going to pay them back by going out there and leaving your trash. Yeah, the level of respect is gone these days.
Yeah, I have access. So talking about farmers, my wife's family, they're tobacco farmers. Well, it's just mainly her cousin, and they have. I probably could go to like 8 or 10 different ponds to bass fish. Or there's one pond, it is loaded bullheads, and I'm surprised that it hasn't overtaken that pond. But I've caught bullheads on. The only reason I knew there's bullheads in there is because I caught them on a Senko one time when I was bass fishing. I was like, wow, there's catfish in here. And then once I got into catfishing, I learned more what kind of catfish it was.
Yeah.
So, me and Josh, dude, like catch and keep as many of them as you can. Me and Josh kept 30 one day, and we ate them. We threw a lot back because they had bumps on them, but two stands. Yep. Is my favorite guy to fish with. That's from Richmond. Two stands. I love going to Stan. Doesn't just shake your hand. He goes, "No, come, bring it in for the real thing." He'll give you. Doesn't matter if he's stinky and sweaty. He'll give you a hug. No, I was playing. You're not stinky, Stan. You're sweaty, but you weren't stinky.
Yeah, I like watching y'all with Stan. Stan's a great guy.
I wish we could fish with him more, man. He's only like an hour and a half away, but again, that whole thing of you got to have 3 hours dedicated to travel back and forth, and
yeah, that's what kills me down here. I'm kind of on an island by myself. I'm so far away from everybody. Creole is probably one of the closest people to me, besides Texas Tiger and some of the guys in Texas. Hey, Missy Kennedy. Kevin Baker, welcome.
Working a lot. He's got a new job, I think he said.
Yeah. Creole's been working a lot. They've been keeping him busy. And that's like me. I stay busy all the time now. Work has really picked up. And
he said she's Josh.
See your boy Troy. Hey Troy, welcome.
What's up,
I don't think I caught you earlier.
TX Tigers in South Carolina, I believe.
That's what Dan just said.
Gary,
yeah.
Her or Gaston, I have to choose just one. I can't, because I haven't fish casted enough. So if I have to choose right now, I would say Kerr. But they're both equally as good fisheries. I mean, the last 3 records for North Carolina. Well, I'm not going to say the last 3, but 3 of the records for North Carolina came from Gaston. Zach Royce caught one, 24 hours released that one, caught another one, and then Joey Baird caught that one before Rocky Baker just caught this other one.
Yeah, the fisheries are definitely there. Uh, the fish are getting bigger. The more people that practice catch and release,
Yes.
the bigger these fish are going to get, and the more common. You're going to start seeing these big fish caught more frequently. Uh, a lot of these fisheries are on their way back, and they have not reached their potential. The James River, for one, where stand fishes, it is not at its full potential yet. It's still on the uprise. The Potomac River is still up and coming. Uh, there are a lot of great fisheries out there. Hey, Big Mike, welcome. Uh, Cur. I think cur is underrated. It's kind of like a sleeper. Not a lot of people know about it. It's not advertised a lot, but I mean, it is going to be a big fish lake, and I
one?
would not cur.
Oh, yeah. It is a big fish lake.
And you know, I think it's going to be put on the map, and people are going to be talking about cur the way they talked about Santee Cooper. Uh, I think cur is coming up, and it's going to become a phenomenal fishery. Uh, you know, Santee Cooper is a perfect example of catch and release. It's on its way back up. It's starting to become the fishery that it once was. Uh, you know, People want to know, does catch and release work? If you look at these bodies of water and you look at the fish they were catching before, and since they've started practicing, look at the size of fish. The numbers of your larger fish have increased, and it really helps. Does anyone in chat have any more questions for Art? Anything you'd like to know, or anything you want to ask me while we're on here?
Yeah, you're right, Catman Do Outdoors. Kerr does hold it. Caught on an ugly stick.
Yep.
Also, Kerr holds the record for biggest blue caught in the tournament, 141 pounds, by Dale Lowe. Yeah, Aaron, I was going to talk about that. I don't know if it, for a lot of the catfish, I call them catfish geeks, so following stories and stuff. So Rocky Baker caught that on a Mad Catz rod. I don't know exactly which one. Probably an Orange Crush because that's the most popular one that they sell. But recently, I saw Matt posted it, or it was in Mad Catz forum. They're working with him now. They actually developed the program. Like Big Cat Fever has they call them, they're the brand that pays you to fish. So like the world record, if it was caught on a state record, let alone be the world record. The state record, if it's caught with a Big Cat Fever rod, you get, and it gets certified and it's all legit. And I think Caleb Page, I guess if he's within the area, you get a $10,000 payout. So I was curious, and this is all just my thought process. I'm not talking junk. I was curious what Mad Catz was going to do since there was a state record caught with it. So what they came back with in response to that, they're working with Rocky and I forget the other guy's name that was on the boat with them, but they were fishing together. They worked on Mad Catz program for catching a state record with their rod or with their apparel. So you will get a customized rod named after you. So like a signature series, like a Paul Smith series rod. And for every rod that is sold, you'll get $10 per rod that's sold. I don't know what time frame is. It's forever, or they're just going to produce X amount.
Yeah.
Rod or whatever. But I thought that was pretty awesome for them with their response to. I'm sure with any rod company, there's that pressure of, well, Big Cat Fever does this. What are you going to do if I catch one of these state records?
Yeah.
rods or wearing one of your hats or one of your shirts.
Yeah, and they're all in competition.
Yeah.
You know, you have to be on top of your game now because it's not like it was 10 years ago where there were really no catfish specific rods. There are companies everywhere that are manufacturing catfish rods, catfish tackle. You're going to have to do something to set your product apart. And Mad Cats, I know Aaron, uh, he's a big Mad Cats fan. And
Yeah, and it's a funny story with that. Aaron started fishing with us, and he had, I believe, all of his rods were the yellow Zebco, or no, Eagle Claw rod. And I was just joking with him, and I was like, "Man, when are you gonna get a real fishing rod?" I was just kidding with him, but that's how we kid around. That's when we talk about joking and cutting up, that's how we talk to each other. But it's all in love and it's for fun. And he showed up one day and he had some Mad Cats rods. I was like, "Oh man, who brought this guy here?" kind of thing. Because I still am. At the time, I was a big Cat Fever guy. I had one, but I was going to buy more. But the whole COVID thing with the inventory. I said, "Man, what made you want to buy those?" I just want to be different. I was like, "Okay." So then Aaron would get on these streaks of catching fish with the Mad Cats rods. And now the thing is, it's always Mad Cats, baby. I mean,
yeah,
like fish on Pinky, or here goes
yeah,
or the Blue Ghost and Patriot, OG Patriot, and I was. It got to the point where, like, man, all right, Aaron, shut up about these Mad Cats. And Aaron's popularity with Mad Cats has grown with the fish that he's catching with these rods. So
yep.
I call Aaron as our Mad Cats representative for our area. He's the Mad Cats guy.
Yeah, and
him and LG were fishing one night and they caught their personal best, sent pictures to Matt, and he's told him to call him. He's like, "Who else has got a rod company?" Saying, "Hey, give me a call."
Yeah.
Talk to you. So.
Yeah. Yeah, and there are so many rods and stuff out there. The Uncle Lou's, he come out with the new rods, and man, they look good.
I want to get a medium heavy. I got a medium, but so I was starting to experiment with getting different action rods for different spots where we fish, so I can have a choice. But I want to get a medium heavy for sure. Yeah, Stan, you're right. You will. Catfish Instigators. Tom gave him that nickname.
Yeah, and he gives Tom a hard time if Tom loses a fish or something. Yeah, he does not pull no punches whatsoever.
He's a good dude, though.
Yeah, he will give LG a hard time.
Yeah.
Well, Art, I appreciate you coming on. I appreciate everybody in chat.
Thanks for having me.
We've been on a little over an hour. I know everybody's got to work tomorrow, including me. I got to get up at 4:00 in the morning.
That's for the birds.
Yeah, I get up and I'm off to work and do my 12 hours and then come home and see how much honeydews the wife has.
Oh, I see Kevin Baker. What's up, Kevin Baker?
Yeah, he come in earlier in the stream. Guys, I want to thank everybody for coming in. Next week, we will have Mark from Catfish and Crappie. He will be our guest. So don't miss that. Yeah, Mark is a lot of fun. Lyle, I enjoy Lyle. Lyle blows me away with the jig tying. And Lyle has done it so long, he makes it look so easy, and it's not as easy as he makes it look. I think Lyle has tied them long enough, he can do it in his sleep. But all right, guys and gals, we're going to get off here. I'm going to end this thing. Once again, Art, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Guys, if you're not subscribed to Art and the One Ton Fishing Club, definitely check him out. Him and Kyle and Uncle Josh and them, they are loads of fun to watch. And Aaron comes over, LG Bass. You just never know who's going to be fishing with them. It's a great time. All right, thanks everybody.
See ya.